Welcome everybody to Extreme Offroad Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 2019 Bugatti Divo. Now this is 1,479 horsepower, 1,180 pounds-feet of torque from its 8-litre quad-turbo W16 engine. Now that is the same horsepower and torque as the standard vehicle, but it now weighs 3,410 pounds. It's now got off-road tyres and off-road suspension to go along with its all-wheel drive system, and yeah, it can do 0 to 60 in 3.011 seconds. 0 to 100 in 5.110 seconds, and it can go to a top speed of 247 miles an hour. So yeah, even though this has none of the extra power and torque that that other vehicles on this series have, it still has a lot of power and torque anyway. So yeah, that additional amount of power isn't really going to trouble this, because yeah, it's pretty much up there with the most powerful of vehicles that we've had on this series anyway. What might trouble it is the fact that it still weighs a fair old bit, and it's hardly the smallest of vehicles, so yeah, those two elements might be issues. And then obviously it is a hypercar, it's not an off-road vehicle whatsoever, so yeah, whether or not these off-road elements are going to be trouble for it, we'll have to see. But we've had surprises before from vehicles that are not meant to be going off-road. I mean, the ATS GT, which is again is a really rather good supercar, is certainly not meant for going off-road, and yet that is the current leader ahead of off-road vehicles and rally cars and all the like. So yeah, anything can happen on this series, so I'm hoping that this can do well. I imagine this would do better than a Chiron, for instance, which this is based on, because the Chiron weighs more than this does even stock. So yeah, this certainly does have the advantage over that car. Plus it also does handle better, even in stock form, so yeah, that's going to be going in its favour. It's dealing with everything okay so far. Looks like you're getting massive turns of speed with all this horsepower and torque, but it is consistent, which is always helpful. And the good thing about this car is, because it was designed to go so quickly at the top end, it's got amazing brakes, which are obviously going to have even greater effect at these lower speeds. Yeah, it's not quite the speed machine as the Chiron, but 167 mile an hour at the finish line there is pretty good. And yeah, we have a new nearly, we have a new leader. I thought misread that then, but yeah, 1 minute 59.880 puts it slam bang into second place, and it's only the second vehicle to go sub 2 minutes, joining the ATS GT, which is still at the top of the leaderboard with 1 minute 59.713. So yeah, not a massive difference in it whatsoever, but yeah, that is pretty remarkable now that we have two mid-engined, high-powered hypercars at the top of the leaderboard. So that means we also beat the Toyota Land Cruiser Arctic trucks, the Peugeot 205 Rally, the Porsche 968 Turbo S, the Ford GT40 Mark 1, Ferrari Portofino, Toyota Hilux Arctic trucks, Porsche 718 RS60, Lamborghini Urus, and the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, which now moves out of the top 10 with this car going into second place. So yeah, pretty formidable really. Obviously it's no more extra power or torque, but nearly 1500 horsepower and nearly 1200 pounds-feet of torque really isn't all that bad anyway, especially in comparison to other vehicles that have been upgraded on this series. And yeah, at the end of the day, this car was built for that kind of power, so yeah, handling wise it was really rather good. The all-wheel drive system wasn't any issue, because again it had that as standard. And yeah, the lack of weight and the wider off-road tyres and the off-road suspension didn't harm it too much either. It handled both of those elements really rather well over what you would expect. So yeah, phenomenal time there, and yeah, far quicker than I was expecting, to be honest, considering the size and the amount of weight that it has going on it over other vehicles on this series. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.